How you doing?
Hey, buddy, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, look at that good-looking face. Hey, long time no see, buddy. How's it going over in Bali?
Yeah, good. Considering like with all the coronavirus and stuff, it's still really good. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
obviously we're all making the best of of a pretty horrible situation as far as people like us that are coaches and run clubs and everything or train at clubs, and our whole life
yeah,
revolves around being with our team and training all the time. Like it's a pretty good time for people to sort of sit back, decide what's really important, and get on and knuckle
yeah,
through.
yeah,
How you been
yeah.
finding
Christy and I talk
isolation
about
over
that
there?
all the time. Um, Good. Like Bali's not as bad as like the world thinks. There's still shops open. The beaches are closed. We're still training. Like we spent 1 week with the gym. Actually, like the gym's been closed, but so for 1 week, me and Christy trained together,
Yep.
just at home, and then the gym is open for the fight team. So
Oh
like
wow.
no new people. So because we all trust each other, and if one of us is sick, like we stay home and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, we're still training now: jiu-jitsu, wrestling, striking.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good, buddy. Like, have you had a chance to speak to many of us Aussies back home?
Mainly to speak to like my family.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you an idea. Like Ryan
Yep.
is, if I was to go to the club, if I was to go to Beast Martial Arts, and a student turned up there to roll with me or train with me, we both, well, actually, as a business, I'd cop a massive fine, but it's individually, it's $1,334 on the spot, and the police are actually going into people's homes at the moment. If the law is we're allowed two people to visit, but
Yeah.
even like people have gone to visit people at home, and the cops have come in, like 6 coppers. Like, come on, where's your ISO?
Yeah.
Where's your
Where's your
ISO
social
there?
distance?
And they're giving the people, the homeowner and the two visitors, 1334, and telling them wait to fight it in court. So like it's. I've had, as I was saying to Christy last night, I've had heaps of people ask me, Jace, can we come around and do some one-on-one wrestling, hold pads and stuff, or meet down the beach, and hold the pool noodles and stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah.
not worth it. Not worth it. We're all in the same
Nah.
boat together here, and Queensland is really cracked down. Like that. Well, even last night I had a mate's message me, Ryan, that they're getting pulled over driving home from work.
Yeah. How is that not social? Like you're not seeing anyone. You're not talking to anyone.
Yeah, and
That's a
they're
bit
getting,
silly.
and they're like, is it essential travel? And they're like, yeah, I'm coming home from work. And they're like, have you deviated
Yeah.
or gone anywhere else? And they're like, I've just finished a 12-hour shift. I'm coming home from work. Like, so it's,
Yeah.
there's ISO, and then there's people taking it a little bit too far, so, but
Yeah.
Joe, I and the kids, we've been isolated now for over 4 weeks. So like, we've really connected deeper as a family and been focusing on family stuff. So I imagine like for you and
Yeah.
Christy over in Bali, mate, like you've got a phenomenal club to train at, phenomenal people to train with. So like, it's a really good time for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Caden. Sorry, mate. What was that, buddy?
No, all good.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I was just agreeing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know who you are, buddy. We're good mates. We go back a few years now. But I want to go right back to
Yeah.
the beginning of your journey. And, Ryan,
Yeah.
can you share with everyone what got you into the sport? Oh, let's start with combat sports. What got you into the sport and what age, mate?
I started at 21.
Yep.
And I don't know. I always enjoyed fighting. Got into a lot of street fights. So, like, yeah. And then I found MMA through a DVD of the UFC, and I was just like, man, that's awesome. Like, I want to do that. And at that time, it was like, it wasn't really a thing, there wasn't.
Oh my God, Caden. Sorry, mate. I couldn't hear it.
Oh, good. All good. So yeah, MMA really wasn't anything at that time when I found it.
Yep.
But my uncle told me, he goes, "Oh, I got a friend who does that." So he introduced me, and I just started training, and I loved it. I had a fight after 2 weeks of 2 training sessions, and
that's you to a T. That's you to a T, brother. For anyone that doesn't know you, bro, you are a fighter through and through.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like the smartest idea because I got drunk the night before, so I was hungover for it. And then, like back in that, like when I first started, I was like, oh, I've not really lost a fight ever, and I can handle myself. And then I got my ass absolutely kicked, and then I fell in love.
Yeah, and hey, I think that's pretty common for everyone that steps into into a ring, into a cage, or even on a tournament mat. Like once they do compete against another human being, there's something about it that just becomes super addictive. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And again, it's, as they say, it's an adrenaline you can't really match, and
you can't at all.
And when they it's funny because they do studies and stuff on soldiers and statistics with their experiences and things, and they say it's not that they become war junkies, but if you're already an adrenaline junkie, a two-way firing range, in Afghanistan, there's not many other places that you're going to be able to replicate that sort of adrenaline. So it's not that they're trying to enter two-way firing ranges, but for soldiers that have problems and stuff later, is they've found that there's so much adrenaline that's packed into that when they go and recreate and they're getting into fights and they're doing other things on the street and stuff, it's they believe it comes back to this same thing of this adrenaline. So MMA has been people talk about why is jiu-jitsu and MMA a really good therapy for people, especially soldiers, veterans with PTSD and stuff. It's easy, it gives them a family again, and there's every time they step on the mat and wrestle, there's adrenaline dump because they're competing again, so it's been that in itself, mate. I think it ties in with when, as you said, you had your first fight and you fell in love with it. It's that sort of thing there.
Yeah, that's it. I was always an adrenaline junkie, so I've done skydiving and bungee jumping and snowboarding, everything that you can think of. And like you said, nothing compares to that adrenaline or that feeling.
Yeah, that's it. I'm glad you were able to sort of clarify that from a fighter's point, because I've told heaps of people that it's a therapy. You would not believe it, but when you're in there training, it's actually the most respectful art in the whole world. 99% of MMA or jiu-jitsu clubs around the world, you go in there, touch gloves, you try and beat the crap out of each other, but you do it with kindness and respect. I mean, if you walked into Bali MMA and you punch someone straight in the nose, left hook to the jaw, it would set a tone that would completely undermine and destroy you as an athlete. So moving on, what has been the ethos and the best part for you moving overseas to Bali MMA with Christy?
Probably just being able to train, train properly, and be coached. Because I've been a coach for 5 or 6 years, so I've never really had the coaches tell me what I do for my guys, point things out, correct things. And the coaching staff here are phenomenal, they know their shit.
Yeah, world class.
So it took me a while to get back into being a student, not being a coach. That was probably one of the hardest things. So, just being able to sit back and be a bit selfish and know that I'm there for myself. Yeah,
well, as a mate, I was really excited when we spoke in Singapore, and we were talking about you doing this move, because I know that the biggest thing you struggled with, for those that don't know, I was a promoter / matchmaker to put you on shows, because I knew how exciting you were as a fighter. You know, like I knew you were a championship level fighter, and I wanted everyone else to be able to see that. But I also know from talking to you as a mate that your job as a coach, as you said, would quite often impede on your own. You know, as a coach, you put everyone else first. You know, like normally in my dojo, if there's 18 people on the mat and it's an even number, I'll never go and kick a student off the mat just so I can have a roll. You know what I mean? Like
that's exactly how I did it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and people will be like, oh, I want to roll with you. And I'm like, I get that. Stay back after class and roll. But you've got to understand as a coach, if you've got a student on the mat, it's super disrespectful to go up and go, you just stand there and wait for a minute, mate. I'm going to take the next 5-minute round. No, you as the coach have to step back and go, oh, someone's gone to the toilet. Run over and clap hands and have a wrestle till they come back. You know, like, and I know there's other clubs, I'm not dissing them, but I know there's other clubs that the coach hardly steps off the mat and they go, I'm giving my students the ability to roll with me. And I'm like, that's good, but that's why I have, like, fighters and stuff, we have fight camp.
Yeah.
We have one-on-ones. We have those things to do that. But I've always been a massive advocate of I'll never tap into my students' time. So,
well, that's the same as me. I always had that, you know. We're doing pad work and stuff like that. Obviously, if there's even numbers, then I'm out.
Yep.
So, things
hey,
like that.
Birdie, how are you, Pete? Yeah.
It's been amazing to be the student again.
Yeah, and as I said, I'll say it again. I was super happy because you already were a super excited and talented fighter, but being in the coach role, now that you're the student role and you're with someone as high class as Bali MMA, like I think like your fight career, you're still young, mate. Like you're going to have plenty of awesome fights coming up, and I'm super excited to share that journey and watch it from the sideline, you know, like, and hopefully if it ends up on the big shows, mate, we'll be getting the pay-per-views.
Fingers crossed I make it there.
Yeah, mate, you will, mate. You've like we had this conversation after the One Warrior Series tryout. I'll let you tell that story rather than me waffle on, but for everyone watching, Ryan applied for the One Warrior Series and he didn't get in. But when he turned up and he was partnering Christy, I'll let him tell the rest.
So I went over to Sydney with Christy because she got accepted for the One Warrior Series tryout. I was helping her warm up, obviously, holding pads, rolling with her, and Rich Franklin and Jonathan were like talking off to the side, and I could see Rich like looking over at me. I thought he was actually looking at Christy because Christy was looking really good. And then I think Christy went to grab a drink of water or something, and then Rich come up to me and goes, "Oh, are you here for the tryout?" I was like, "No, I got knocked back, so I'm just here for Christy." And they're like, "Oh, well, we want you to jump in. We want you to jump on the mat and try out." So, I got to try out. I thought I did really, really well. They said I only got knocked back because of my record. So,
yeah. And as someone that was there to watch it live, you actually got put in the most unfair group, I'd have to say. You were the tiniest bloke.
They were all huge.
You got put in with the giants.
Massive.
But for anyone watching, Ryan, they'd try and take Ryan down, and he'd actually take all those guys down. Like, I think your tryout was phenomenal. You did really, really well.
I thought I did well.
Yeah, you really, like watching the whole thing. Like, I guess I was surprised to find out you didn't get picked because you were chucked in with the biggest fighters, yet you probably performed the best. You know, doing all the takedowns, all the drills and stuff. Your submissions were super slick. You know, your movement was super slick, and your wrestling over in the corner where they had you doing the wrestling drills, you were the one, getting the takedowns. But I want to talk about your record because your record has been your biggest bugbear. And it's pertinent to me because I knew you were going to win a title. All I needed to do was get you matched for a title, and you were going to show people just how good you were. But we know what you did, but your record doesn't reflect your fighting, but that's only because you as a fighter did silly things as a young fighter, like A promoter would call you up on a day's notice, and you'd fill a fight.
Yeah.
You were a flyweight stepping into a featherweight fight on 2 days' notice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so can you just elaborate on that for everyone so that they can understand it as well?
Yeah, so when I became a coach, I then decided to become a professional fighter because I was just an amateur. I'd only fought amateur. I'd had a lot of amateur fights. So I was like real new to the professional scene. So I was like taking silly fights, like you said, short notice fights against bigger guys. And for me at the time, it was like, it was experience. I was learning things so that I could pass this knowledge on to making sure if it was a mistake, I'd make sure my students didn't make it.
Yeah.
You know, so I sort of sacrificed my own career to make sure that I could better their career.
Yeah.
So, you know, and now I'm concentrating on myself, so that's been real detrimental to my career.
Yeah.
Like in the long run. So I've taken, you know, like you said, I took a featherweight fight on short notice against a guy that's only lost twice. Once was to the AFC champion a few years ago, and the other person he lost to was Alex Volkanovski. So,
you know, like,
you know, and I thought I did all right. You know, I made it halfway through the second round, and I got some takedowns, and
I
kicked him in the head, which did nothing. So.
No, as you know, mate, not just as a mate, but as a fan of MMA, I saw massive potential. Like, I remember being honest with you, saying, like, when I matched you, people were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "You wait and see. You wait and see. He will win the belt. I guarantee it." And you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, listening to the commentator on that fight afterwards, he's going, "Oh, you know, he's a." What was it? I can't remember, whatever my record was at the time. He goes, "Oh, not a person you'd really see fight for a title. You know, but here we are anyway." And then within the first minute of the fight, he's gone, "Well, he's definitely not fighting like that type of fighter, you know?"
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I was, you know, when I watched it back, I was sort of like, haha, you can see what I'm talking about now, everyone, because that's what I saw. And that's what I believed, you know. So it was a very, very proud moment for me personally to see that actually happen, and then people's eyes turn up and go, "Whoa!" Like,
yeah,
forget the record. You also won lots of fights in a row at your own natural weight, and people didn't see that.
I went 5 in a row. No, they didn't, because I was taking those bigger fights, short notice fights in between. So it was like I'd win 2, I'd lose 1 at like featherweight.
Yeah.
I'd win 2, I'd lose 1 at bantamweight.
Yeah.
Where all the 5 wins straight in flyweight.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, so flyweight was your weight, and it was really good when we had a conversation. You said, "I'm sticking at flyweight." You know, I was super happy because I'm like, that's the fighter in you. You know, like, and I think like promoters can really use fighters in that regard. When they're more interested in filling a fight card or replacing a fighter than actually going, "You know what, Ryan's a good guy." I'll be like, "No, Ryan, like, I'd rather drop that fight off the card than get someone who's walking around at 58 kilos fighting someone who's made weight for 2 days to make it to 65 kilos. You know, like, as a promoter, and I'll never do that sort of shit, you know, like, and Beast Championship's a little bit different. Is I do look at fight records, I do look at the people, but if I was to line it up purely on who's ranked on topology at, you know, number 1 and number 2, like, to me, that's a good guide, but it doesn't tell me anything about the fighter. If I've watched that fighter, if I've just recently watched that fighter compete at, you know, the Australian ADCC trials or something like that, and I'm like, man, this guy's awesome. You know, and you go back and you watch his fight and you go, why did he lose? And you're like, oh, it was a split points decision. You know, I'll be like, hang on, I'm going to give that guy another chance because that was awesome. You know, and I know a lot of other promoters don't want to have that, oh, he just lost his last fight, can't have him on mine. It's like, hang on, you can't judge people off that. Yeah.
I've you see that a lot. Like you look at Tapology and you go, oh wow, they've got like 6 wins in a row.
Yep.
And you go look at who they fought, and it's like they're padding their record.
Yep.
The fights that I lost at bantamweight was my very first pro fight. That was at bantamweight against Mitch Martin, who's now 7 or 8-0.
Yeah, Mitch Martin's
and
a
he's
beast.
The eternal.
Man.
He is, and he's the eternal champ, bantamweight champ. I lost to another guy named Shantaram. He was ranked number 5 or something at the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember who else I lost to, but like, they're all top level guys, you know.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And the padded record. I've had coaches actually ask me like, Jace, that's a really hard fight. Can you find us an easier fight? And I'm like, no. Like, that's the offer. Like, I will never be known as number 1. I won't be known as a promoter that helps fluff people's records up. Number 2, I'll never be known as a matchmaker that doesn't, g'day Kato, that doesn't make the match as even as possible. You know what I mean? Like, you and Stewie, for the title fight, that was one of the most exciting fights. Everyone that was there said that fight was unreal. A lot of people thought it was going to be finished when you had the reverse guillotine up against the cage, like...
Yeah.
Even Stewie afterwards was like, whoa, that was close.
Yeah, he told me, he goes, I nearly tapped to that.
Yeah.
I felt him go like a little limp, like he started dropping, but then he did some wicked escape. So
yeah, he's a beast, man.
He got out of it, but
yeah, that's you're fighting the best.
He had me in some danger a lot in that fight.
Yeah.
On the ground, you know.
But like Stewie said, he said your striking was absolutely phenomenal. There was no way he wanted to sit there and go toe to toe because like he knew that the striking levels there was a difference, and that's a smart fight. That's a smart fighter. You know what I mean? Like there's people that go out and go, I'm going to prove that I'm a good fighter. It's no good if you've gone out there and got knocked out in 30 seconds. If your strength is get them to the ground, submit them or choke them, like it's. I think, especially in the earlier days of your pro record, as you get a little bit older and through that, you can take a few more risks and stuff. I love you too, Kato.
Yeah.
That's my son popping up. You can see there. Love you, Daddy man. But yeah, Mitch Martin and Stewie Nickel, definitely 2 people I want to interview on this as well and get their stories out because they're both phenomenal fighters.
They are.
We're going to go to the quick 10. We're going to do a quick shootout. Actually, I might even get to the 20 seconds today. The 20 questions, sorry. Let me bring these ones up. Yeah, let me start my timer up there. Okay, are you ready?
Yep, go.
Yep. You got to try your best to fire these off. I won't time this one, otherwise you won't get through some of the questions. But
okay,
what would you name the autobiography of your life?
Oh shit, that's a hard one. Can I pass?
Ruthless, I reckon.
I don't know that one.
I reckon Ruthless.
Yeah,
Ruthless would suit you to a T, bro. Okay, 3 favourite songs.
My walkout song that you fucked up. The
hey, that wasn't me. That was the other guys that switched them all around.
The fucking DJ, whoever it was.
Yeah, dude.
I walked out to some country music, I think.
Yeah, they had a bit of a shocker that night.
Pretty much my walkout songs: Warriors Code, the For the Glory by All Good Things, and probably Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, good choices, all 3 of them. If you could do anything or make anything, what would you make?
An Iron Man suit.
Ah, cool. So you're an Iron Man fan?
I like Iron Man. He's just a rich dude, so it's like, a little realistic.
Yeah, because the next question literally is, who's your favourite superhero?
That Deadpool. Even though he's like an anti-hero.
Yeah, no, I love
Yeah.
him as well, bro.
Yeah.
Now, if you could go and meet anyone in time, past, present, who would you love to sit down with and have a coffee?
Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Oh, pound for pound, man.
Just to pick
like,
his brain, you know?
yeah.
Like,
His fight IQ, his training IQ is on a whole nother level, eh? Like, excellent answer.
yeah.
If you won the lottery, what's the first thing you'd do?
Probably go get waffles.
What sort of waffles?
Just Gelari waffles.
Oh, no, I've never had them, brother. If you could travel
They're like the
anywhere in
best
the world.
waffles in the world.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Probably back to Japan.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't wait to go to
snowboarding.
Japan. I can't wait to go there, mate. I really want to take. I want to take my family there one time because it's like apparently people have said it's the most amazing place to visit.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We went there for snowboarding. Best snow in the world.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I took
amazing.
the opportunity when I was single to go snowboarding as much as I could, and I loved snowboarding in New Zealand. That was a beautiful experience. But everyone said
Yeah,
there's
New
something
Zealand's
about
good
Japan
fun.
that's just very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, if you could be a fictional character from any time, who would you be?
Deadpool.
I knew you were going to say Deadpool. What's your favourite indoor activity?
Photoshop.
Photoshop? Outdoor
Yeah.
activity?
Can I say punching people? Like
Yeah,
fighting?
yeah.
Like, yeah, MMA? Yeah.
This is yours, dude. You can say whatever you want, brother. But actually, on your Photoshop skills, you're getting better and better, man. And I really like that you've put out there your instructionals and your speed art and stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It's looking good, mate. And again, as a self-taught Photoshopper myself, I'm getting better and better. Some of them you look at and you're like, oh, other ones you look at and you go,
I looked at my stuff that I started with. I looked back on it. And I was like, man, that is horrible. Let's never see that stuff again.
Yeah. And one of the most honest ways is put it up on Instagram or put it up on a page and let people rip it apart.
Yeah.
And then when people rip me apart for it and they're like, oh, this looks done, I'm like, thanks. That's all actually constructive criticism that I want because I'm self-taught. I'm not sitting here going to some college to learn it. What's the chore that you absolutely hate doing?
Probably dusting.
Dusting?
Yeah, dusting the house. Like, I get really bad hay fever, so it's so horrible. It's like my worst thing ever.
Okay, your first job.
I swept floors. How old was I? I might have been like 11 or 12. I got like $5 an hour.
That's probably why you hate dusting.
And, yeah, probably. Yeah, and made napkins. I folded napkins into like fans and stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah.
What's the first thing you bought with your own money?
Oh, shit. I think I just bought like clothes, really. My dad bought all the expensive stuff, like PlayStation and stuff like that. But yeah, mine was just clothes. It was just I could fill my wardrobe with whatever I wanted.
Yeah, cool. I still remember mine was Sega Mega Drive.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, when I was working, I think I was working at Red Rooster at the time, and as soon as I had enough money to go and buy myself a Sega Mega Drive, and what was it? It was either Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. I just went home and just stayed up playing that for hours, man.
Yeah.
Okay, what 3 traits do you believe define you the best?
Honesty.
Yep.
I don't know what the word is, but like to help people.
Yep. Probably benevolence.
Yep, that's a big word for me.
Yep.
And I don't know. Good looking.
The Zoolander factor.
Yeah.
Give us your best blue steel.
Okay, hang on. I don't know how he does it. I haven't watched that movie in years.
I'm going to have to add that in, bro. I'm going to have to add that in for everyone to make them do their best blue steel. Now, I'll just go back over and jump into some of the fight-related questions again, but that was some of the ones. Now, there's no way we'd rattle them off in a minute. So I've actually got a new list that I'm doing.
No,
It's 10 questions in 60 seconds. And so
yeah.
The new one I've done, I'll put in the next interview. But it should be a lot easier for people to follow. Now, these ones are pretty quick. What's your favourite strike?
Strike, probably my right head kick.
Yep. Favourite submission?
Yeah. Darce choke.
Yeah. You're actually
I've pulled
like
off a couple of them, and
yeah, I've seen it, dude. Like, it's very good. Your biggest inspiration?
probably Christy.
Yeah, I'd go with that, mate. Like, to see what she's done.
Yeah,
And
just
not only to be there,
exactly. And a lot of people don't see, obviously, behind the scenes of a fighter.
Yeah.
And you'll see a lot of fighters, like, they'll make excuses to back off a little bit. You know, I'm tired, or I'm sore, or I'm this, or I'm that. You know, they don't have the discipline with food and stuff like that.
Yep.
Where Christy she doesn't make excuses. She's always at training, injured or not. She eats well all the time. You know, she's got a great mindset. She's got a championship mindset. So,
yeah,
you know, she will be a champion, like, in the near future, I reckon.
Yeah. That's why when she said last night that her future ambition was obviously Angela Lee, you know, like, that's the top of her division.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're going to get there. You've got that mindset. You've got that determination. You know, like, she's going to forge her own path to that area. So it's awesome, mate.
Yeah,
okay.
Agree.
What does it mean to you personally to be a fighter?
I don't know. I don't know what it means. It's just like a passion. It just makes me happy.
Yep.
You know, brings balance to my life.
Yep.
And you talk about, like, the military, you know, when they finished in the war or whatever, and they come back and they got nothing.
Yep.
You know, it's like, it's that balance to be able to live every day without, you know, it helps with anger, it helps with discipline and everything like that. So
yeah. And I think
that
like,
can apply to everyone.
Like, a lot of people want to be fighters until they get a taste of what it's like. So,
yep.
As I was telling Christy last night, Joe and I have introduced a 4-week pre-camp. So anyone that wants to fight, like on the end of year shows, before we go into the 12-week fight camp, we're going to do the 4-week pre-camp fight camp.
Yeah.
Because we want to give them a taste of what it's like during the 4 weeks, you know, with their diet, with their training, with their recovery, you know, and having, like, one of my fighters, Kay, a female fighter, she is phenomenal, mate. Like, it didn't matter what was going on in her life. Hey, there's Christy in the background. Didn't matter what was going on.
Yeah, she just walked past.
Yeah. In her personal life, she turned up and grinded. You know, like, if I gave her, like, you got to do 25 hill sprints followed by 2,000 roundhouse kicks on the bag, I can guarantee you she was at home doing her 25 hill sprints and her 2,000 roundhouse kicks on the bag in her own time. You know, like, so I'm like, it's just shit that her opponent pulled out with 1.5 days to go. You know, like, But that's a different story. Okay, here we go. I might know the answer to this already, but if you could have a dream fight with any fighter, past or present, who would you fight?
Yeah, you already know.
Who?
Yeah, Demetrius Johnson.
I knew it was going to be that. Yeah. What a test of fight skill that would be, eh?
Yeah. I think he's the greatest of all time. You know, like, he's just so technical, so smart.
Yeah.
He's good to watch. You know, like.
Yeah, he's a highly exciting fighter.
Yeah,
And it's
I
not
think
just
since he's
it's
gone
not
to
just
one championship as well, he's
Yeah.
like even more exciting. I think he got a bit bored in the UFC because he was just dominating everyone.
yeah.
Where now he's getting tested.
Yeah, that's it's really really good. Like I'll touch on that in a little bit. We briefly covered last night. Not briefly. We went into depth with the proposal, mate. What
Oh yeah.
what made you come up
You want
with
to
the
hear
proposal?
my side of it? I just thought it was fitting for us.
Yeah,
I wanted to do something special, and we met through martial arts, so it was like I thought that would be like the best time. I talked to you about the game plan and stuff like that for her fight in there. So
yep,
and we're both basically knew she was going to win.
yep,
I had it in the works for like a couple of months with Rich Franklin and the Warrior team. So like, yeah, it was a big lead up to that, and that was one of the scariest things I've ever done.
I was gonna say, yeah, I knew it would have been for you, mate, but you did really well, mate, and not just that, like you got the girl, but you did it in a method and a fashion that completely suited both you and Christy as fighters, mate. So
Yeah.
like, I was over the moon when I saw the post.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone that
thanks,
doesn't know
Dad.
Rich Franklin either, he's such a cool dude.
He is. He's
Yeah.
the nicest guy ever.
Yeah, just a genuine OG of MMA, but just a real good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that what you see when you're talking to him is the same when he turns around and the camera's on, and then the camera goes off him and is the same.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, there's something that someone pointed out to me. It was real funny. The photo I got with Rich, with Kyron, myself, and Rich down at the One Warrior series. Both Kyron and I are standing on his toes.
Yeah, I know. I noticed.
And I'm like, I didn't know until someone pointed out, and they go, "Is that an act of dominance from you two?" And we're like, I didn't even notice. But Rich was such a cool guy. If someone was standing on my toes, I'd sort of like shuffle them off.
Yeah, so would I.
He must have thought like, oh, this must be an Aussie thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big dude as well.
Oh, yeah, he's solid as, man. And his diet and his training, he's lean 24/7.
Yeah. I didn't realise how big he was.
Yeah. He's a big dude, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But super humble. But when you watch him, like the little things he was teaching all of us, and when I was drilling with Kyron and doing the warm-up with Kyron, the little things that he was coming over and adjusting and showing and stuff, like just his guillotine posts, and I was just like, man, I would love to just, spend a couple of weeks learning from this guy. His fight IQ and knowledge was next level.
Yeah.
Okay, second last one. What's your funniest fight-related story?
Oh. Okay. This is really embarrassing. But fuck it, I had a fight on Hex, but beforehand, I went to the toilet and I just chucked a pee.
Yep.
But I fucking shat myself. So I had to go change and all that sort of stuff. And then go out and fight. And all I was thinking was, fuck, do not shit yourself inside the ring. I had food poisoning for that fight.
That's
food poisoning, yeah. And it was horrible.
That's the sort of stories I want, I remember Kyron getting ready to come out for his fight, and the other person's walkout song had finished, and Kyron was like, "I've got to go." I'm like, "What do you mean, bro? Like your walkout song's about to start." He's like, "No, I've got to do a shit now, or I'll shit my pants in the cage." And so he ran to the toilet. We're standing outside the toilet so we could, lift his pants and help him back up again and get out there for his warm-up song. And so that's it's little things like that I wanted to share. The funny little stories that most people wouldn't know outside of a fight locker or a warm-up room, is there some seriously funny things that go on.
Yeah. The movie Creed, like he did that. He's like about to walk out, and exact same thing. He's like, I got a shit.
And if you've studied the science of fighting, that's the flight or fight syndrome. That's the body's reaction to fight or flight. Is it dumps anything the body doesn't need. So it dumps, urine, feces. It dumps it. Yeah, which is why a lot of people during a moment where they've had a massive adrenaline dump, they do piss and shit themselves. And even if they don't realize it until later, is you got to understand as a human being, our bodies have been primed through evolution to do that. It's like, I don't need this in my body. I'm going to drop everything I don't need so that I'm as light and I'm as ready to go as possible, and nothing. Yeah, and we had to get that through to soldiers in unarmed combat training that, hey, if you shart your jocks, that's fine. Yeah, if you do a shart in your jocks and you get home tonight and you're like, did I really shit my pants? If you've walked through a scenario room and we've just double-legged you and we're holding a pistol to your head and you've got to fight your way through, there's a very good chance that something like that might happen, because you've walked into a dark room and boom, fight or flight, the adrenal's response, boom, away you go. So that's what it is when you guys go to step in the cage.
Yeah, that's it.
Your body's like, oh, hang on, I got to dump me bowels.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And you've only got to watch the footage of that guy that was shitting his pants through the MMA fight to see that it is true.
Yeah.
You've seen that one?
I've seen it. I've seen it a couple of times. There was a girl in the UFC that did it as well.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah, she owned it. She was just like, she posted it and she goes, sometimes you shit yourself. Or sometimes shit happens, like.
Yeah, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, but
that's it.
At the end of your career, what do you want to be remembered most for as a fighter?
Exciting.
Yep. I'd agree with that, Ryan. Like, for people that don't know how you fight, is you go out there and you make it entertaining. Like, you'll disengage and point at the floor and go, let's bang. You're that sort of fighter.
Yeah.
You'll try stuff that other people don't try. I love, like, you're an entertainment, you're an entertainer as well. Like, if you see the camera come on and you're halfway through a submission, you'll poke your tongue out. If the ref's looking at you and you're caught in a submission, you'll stick your arm up backwards to give him the thumbs up to let you know you're okay. Like little things like that. They go a long way to sticking in a like a fan's memory to go, hey, that's that guy that was doing that.
Yeah, I talk to my corner in the crowd a lot.
Yeah.
I had one fight. It was on Eternal, and I kneed this guy in the belly twice.
Yep.
And then he dropped to the once in the belly and then once in the head, and he dropped to his knee. And then Chrissy's gone again. And I've like turned around. I've gone, I can't knee him. He's on the ground. And she's like, yeah, don't knee him. And then he goes to me, yeah, come on, knee me again. So I need him in the guts, and he goes, oh, that was good.
That was awesome, eh? That was so good.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for all this to be lifted. Like, we've got so many good Aussie promotions. Like, I can't wait to see all the promoters be able to get back out there and get back doing what they love. I miss it heaps.
Yeah.
Like, Beast Championship's going to be on a massive steamroller for what we want to get done. You've mentioned Eternal. Cam and Ben have done an amazing job with Eternal, and that is Australia's biggest fight show is Eternal. And
they're leading the way for sure.
What people don't see is the hours and the sacrifice and dedication that people like, Ben and Cam have put into, building Eternal. It wasn't an overnight growth, like they literally slogged.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Cam stopped work to do that full time, and there's no guarantees in the promoting business. As I say to people, it's like sort of having a restaurant. It's sort of like getting in all the best food, all the best drinks, making all the tables nice, opening the doors and hoping people turn up for a feed.
Yep.
You know, like
Exactly.
the promoter has no real guarantee. So it's and I'll talk to promoters soon, but when people think promoters make lots of money, I'm like, you got a long few years ahead of making zero before you start to make a few dollars. Like if you're doing it
Yeah.
right and building your show, if you're just trying to line your back pocket, you'll only make, you know, less than 5 shows and you'll be done.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but if you do it right, you look after the fighters first, the fans first, and build your promotion. It'll take a few years to get your following, a few years to make fighters go, actually fighting for them was so different to fighting to them. Like, I want to go back and experience it again, see if it's as good the second time. You know, like.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I got some pretty cool things lined up for the next one coming up when we can get out of ISO and head to Brisbane. I'm different to most, you know, as you know, like I brought you all out on the stage, make you all sort of form up and do little different things there. You know, have your walkouts and that sort of stuff is always a little bit different. And the one that I've got for Brisbane is going to be different again.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
All I'll say is I just got to hope we're allowed to have fire breathers. Yeah,
There's a guy here, not here, in Perth. He's done a couple of walkouts for people. So he plays the bagpipes.
Oh, yeah.
And he plays AC/DC, but like flames come out of his bagpipes.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah.
That's fucking epic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Talking about bagpipes, there's one of my deepest memories of being deployed was listening to the bagpipes early morning one morning, and it just shut down the whole base, and everyone was just sort of silent and listening to those bagpipes as the sun come up, and it was just like, it's an experience you can't describe to anyone else. It was something that just connected with you at a very deep level as a soldier, and all of a sudden transcended time and took you back to like, it sounds funny, but you sort of could have connected back to someone thousands of years ago, you know, standing on a battlefield and hearing that sound. Like it was, like just got shivers thinking of it now. Like it was one of the strongest memories I've ever had. So seeing them play AC/DC in a sold out venue, mate, that'll be unreal.
Yeah.
Well, is there anyone you'd like to thank, Ryan, before I wrap it up, mate?
Thank you for having me on.
Oh no, it's a pleasure, mate. Like I said, I'm going to try and talk. Any fighters that want to have me on, I'll be more than happy to schedule a time to get on there and, you know, shoot some shit and have a yarn. And that's what it's basically about, is to just get on there, talk to people and help fighters during this time. They don't get out there and put their fists on display. So if I can help a fighter get out there and talk for a bit and help people go, hey, I'm now going to follow that Ryan guy. I'm going to follow that Christy girl. Like, I've seen them. I've heard them talk live. I'm now going to follow them. If I can do that, you know, then I'm hoping I'm helping keep the sport alive behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're doing a good job. A good interview. So.
No, thank you so much, brother.
It's good.
Ryan, it's always a pleasure, mate. Anyone else, go and check out and follow Ryan. Okay, he's at Ryan Ruthless Robertson. So check him out on Facebook and on Instagram. Make sure you follow him. He's a super exciting fighter. He's a very, very entertaining character and just an all-round good bloke. Thank you so much for your time interviewing this morning, Ryan.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you heaps, brother. See you, mate.
All right. See ya.
See you, buddy. Bye.